Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Now class, let's discuss the course outline for our today's lecture. Today we will discuss another very important concept, that is TQM, Total Quality Management, and what is the contribution of Deming regarding the quality management. He gave us very important 14 points that how we can manage the quality in the organizational setting. So we will discuss these points in detail today. Then there are many aspects of total quality management. There are many approaches related to total quality management, like continuous improvement. Again, TQM is not the name of the one-time activity. It is the name of the continuous activity. So we'll discuss it. Then what is Six Sigma and how we can have relate this quality with the Sigma, that is the concept in statistics, So we will discuss this Six Sigma concept. Then employee empowerment. Within any quality organization, the top management should give the environment to their employees in order to have the better quality within their organizational setting. Then benchmarking, that how should we compare with some standard in order to improve the performance in future. That is the benchmarking. So we will also discuss benchmarking. Then just in time, that how to produce when it is needed. And we are always interested in just in time concept, that we try to reduce the inventory in organization in order to reduce the cost and also to reduce the cost of quality actually. So that is the concept behind JIT. We will discuss it. The next concept we will discuss, that is the Taguchi concepts. So he told us the concept that how we can reduce the variation. Again, variation is the most important concept, and we are always interested to reduce variation. So he gave us the concept that how we can reduce the variation in the production of our goods and services. So we'll discuss all of these total quality management tools. Next comes the specific approaches and also the tools of TQM, that is the check sheets, in which we are always interested to note down the different things in the form of the tables in order to take the particular decisions. Then scatter diagrams, in which we draw the diagrams. We take the two variables, one is on the x-axis, the other one is on y-axis, and then after plotting those spots on that graph, we can take a very important decision. We will just discuss it. Then cause and effect diagram, which is also known as Ishikawa diagram or fishbone diagram. Then Pareto charts. These are also very important charts which are helpful in the management of quality for the organizations. Then flowcharts. Flowcharts are a very important tool to examine the activities of a particular process or operation in the organization. Histograms, again a very important diagrammatic distribution through which we can have very important decisions. Then again statistical process control, that how we can control our processes and operations by the application of statistics. So these are some of the points which we will discuss in today's lecture. So after going through this lecture, you will be able to understand that what are the different total quality management concepts and what are the related approaches. Then what is the Sigma and the Six Sigma concept, what is benchmarking, and what is the quality robust products and Taguchi concepts. You will also be able to have the knowledge about the different TQM tools and how these tools can be helpful in taking good decisions. TQM, that is the total quality management. Let's define TQM. T is for total. Now what is meant by total? Total means the quality is not the responsibility of only one department or only the quality control department. That is the responsibility of all the departments in the organization as well as all the individuals of the organization, and sometimes we say all the stakeholders of the organization as well. So this is a very important concept, TQM. T means total. Everyone is responsible for quality. Quality, we have already defined quality as it is meeting or exceeding the customer satisfaction. If we are able to meet or exceed our customer requirements and his satisfaction, we are providing the quality products. Otherwise, we are not providing the quality products. Management. Again, we have discussed different activities of management like planning, organizing, staffing, directing, reporting and budgeting. So we discussed about the total, we discussed about the quality, we discussed about the management. So what is the TQM? TQM is actually the use of the different management activities in order to provide the quality products by the collaboration and integration and collaboration of all the departments and all the individuals of the organization. So that is the best definition of TQM. So TQM encompasses entire organization. So again, total. It is not the responsibility of one department or one individual, it is the responsibility of overall organization and its members. From the supplier to the customer. Okay, sometimes we also include even the suppliers in that definition of TQM, because if you are not getting the quality raw material from our suppliers, how can we give the quality products and services to our customers? Therefore, suppliers are as important in maintaining the TQM environment within the organization. Okay, who stresses a commitment by the management to have a continuing. Again, continuing. This is not the one-time activity, it is a continuous activity. Company-wide drive towards excellence in all the aspects of products and services that are important to our customers. So that is what is TQM, Total Quality Management. Now Deming has a lot of contribution towards quality management, and most importantly he gave us 14 very important points which can always guide us that how we can maintain and manage the quality within our organizational setting. Now let's discuss these points one by one. The first point is about that is creating consistency of purpose. Again, consistency. We have already discussed that consistency is the friend of quality. It is always required to have the consistent products, quality products for the organization in order to better satisfy the customers. Now there are three meanings here for the consistency. That is the consistency over the customer satisfaction. Second, the consistency for the quality. The third one, consistency over the long lastingness and over the long term application. So there should always be a consistency of purpose, consistency of quality delivery within the organization. Second point is we should lead to promote change. Okay, in the last lecture we also discussed about the change and innovation, that how this change and innovation and the innovative ideas can help the operational managers to produce the goods and services which can better serve our customers. So important is the change with respect to the quality management. But when we talk about the change with respect to the TQM, so we talk about mostly the marginal change or the continuous change. We don't talk about the radical change. So we are always interested in the continuous and marginal change when we talk in the perspective of TQM. Third one, build quality into the products, stop depending on inspection. Again, we have already discussed this concept, which is now given by Deming, that we should always try to prevent the defects right at the first point of production, rather than depending on the inspection, that after the inspection you would know that some product is rejected or it is accepted. So our full concentration should be on the prevention side and not on the inspection side. So what was the traditional view about the quality? We have an inspection department who usually inspect the different products and services, and finally we decide that this product is acceptable and this product is not acceptable. But now that is not the case. Now we always try to prevent defects right at the first stage in order to avoid the inspection, because inspection also involves some cost, that adds to the cost of quality, which we have already discussed. So preventive management or the prevention management is always so important when we talk about the TQM, total quality management. Fourth point, build long-term relationships based on the performance, not price. Okay, what is meant by that? Let's you take some raw material from your suppliers, and in most of the organization, there is a general tradition that you would select your supplier on the basis of the lowest bid, and sometimes you don't care about the quality. So if you are doing that, you are not fulfilling the concept of TQM. We should always consider the quality with respect to the price. No doubt price is important, but we should have a sort of trade-off between price and quality. So in order to build the good relationship with our customers, and most importantly with our stakeholders, we should always have the base of this relationship on the basis of performance, not only on the basis of price. So that is the concept which was given by Deming here. Fifth point, continuously improve the product quality and service. Again, TQM is not the name of only one-time activity or the single-time activity. It is the name of continuous activity. All the year, all the organizations are always interested to improve the quality in one way or the other. Sixth point, that is the start training. Training is so important in order to manage and maintain the quality within the organization. And when we discuss about the cost of quality, then we also discussed that we should train our employees at the prevention stage in order to prevent the defective products. So important is the training. If we are able to properly train our employees, we can better manage the quality, and we can better manage to reduce the cost of inspection. So that is so important. Seventh point, emphasis leadership. Now we are talking about the quality management, we are talking about the improvement, we are talking about the profitability, but all these quality aspects and management of quality is not possible without the commitment of top management. If the top management is not able to provide you the leadership style and sort of environment within the organization, you will not be able to create a quality environment within the organization. So important is the leadership. So leadership should always give a sort of motivation to the employees in order to manage and maintain quality to better serve their customers. Next point is drive out fear. Now what is meant by drive out fear? You must have learned that there are the different styles of management, and the most important styles of management are sometimes that is authoritative management style and the participative management style. Now we are not interested anymore in the authoritarian management style, strictness. We are interested in participative management style. So the top management and the other managers should have a relationship of participation with the employees, and they should work together as a team in order to get maximum for their organization. So there should not be a sort of fair environment or the fair among the different employees. We should have a sort of participation, teamwork relationship in the organizational environment, and that can of course helpful in order to manage the quality within the organization. Next point is break down the barriers between the departments. Another very important point with respect to the Pakistani organizations especially. In the last class we discussed about synergy. If the different departments are not able to collaborate each other or not able to integrate the different activities, we will not be able to create synergy in the organizational setting. So it is very important to have a sort of synergetic environment among the different departments so that we can better manage the quality for our customers. Next point is stop haranguing workers. That is, stop, give the strict direction to your workers. Rather than we should participate with them, we should encourage the innovative ideas. So because sometimes these innovative ideas on the part of your employees are so important that they can be very helpful in modifying your products and also in the development of new products and services for your customers. So always you should encourage your employees to give the ideas and have a sort of comfortable environment within the organization. Okay, next point is about the support, help and improve. Again, that is the environmental setting in which the top management is committed to support their employees. They should provide all the necessary resources to their employees to their operational managers, to their quality managers, in order to better manage the quality and in order to have the continuous improvement. Okay, the next point is remove the barriers to pride in work. There should be no barriers before the employees in order to perform within the organizational settings. It means that we should always provide comfortable environment for our employees. We should always have a sort of participative relationship between our employees, so that we can better utilize our most important resources, that is the human resources. Okay, next point is institute a vigorous program of education and self-improvement. Okay, sometimes that self-improvement and self-management is so important that if you are not able to self-improve yourself or self-manage yourself, how you would be able to contribute towards organizational improvement or towards your product improvement. So sometimes it is so important to self-improve yourself, self-manage yourself, and to provide or to have the particular education which is required in the production of good and quality products and services for your customers. So that is again related to the training part and the education part, that we should arrange some sort of workshops, some sort of training for our employees in order to contribute towards that preventive management. Okay, the last point of Deming is put everybody in the company to work on the transformation. Now again, that is about the total part of that TQM, that we should have a sort of environment that all the employees and all the departments should have their own contribution towards maintaining and management of the quality. So these are the 14 important points of Deming, and if some organization is able to prevail these sort of points related to the quality management within the organization, of course that will be very helpful in maintaining the quality environment within the organization. Okay, let's talk about 7 very important concepts of TQM. That is the continuous improvement, Six Sigma, employee empowerment, benchmarking, just in time, Taguchi concepts, knowledge of TQM tools. Now what TQM tools? All of these TQM tools. Okay, let's discuss these important concepts of TQM one by one. Continuous improvement, as its name shows, that TQM is the continuous improvement. We are not talking about the radical improvement. We are not talking about the one-time improvement. We are talking about the continuous improvement, and most probably we are talking about the marginal improvement. You must remember that when we were discussing the innovation and the change in the last lecture, we discussed that there are the 2 types of innovation. One is the marginal innovation, in which we are interested in 10% improvement of in our operations or in our product designs or whatsoever. But sometimes we are maybe interested in the radical improvement, maybe the 90% or the 100% improvement in our products and services. So as far as the TQM is concerned, we are mostly concerned with the marginal improvement and continuous improvement. So continuous improvement represents continual improvement of all the processes, and most importantly all the operations of the organizations which are directly involved in the production of goods and services. Then it involves all the operations and work centers, including the suppliers and customers. As we discussed, that sometimes the suppliers are so important because they are providing us the raw material which can be helpful in the production of the quality products and services. So we should have the continuous improvement in the different entities of the organization. These may be the people, these may be the equipment and the machinery, this may be the materials, procedures, and most important, the organizational operations. Okay, Shewhart was another theorist who has a significant contribution towards quality management. He gave us a model, that is the PDCA model. What is PDCA model? That is the plan, do, check, and act. What is plan? As a first step to ensure the continuous improvement environment within our organization, we should identify what type of improvement we need, and we should make a plan in order to have this sort of improvement. Then we should test our plan which we have made at the first stage. So we should check it whether it is working or not, whether this plan or this strategy has been able to achieve our predetermined objectives or not. Then lastly, we should implement this plan. If that plan is able to meet our established standards, then we should implement it. So again, this is the continuous process. This PDCA cycle is a continuous cycle, and we should not stop it, and this should be prevailed all over the year, especially with respect to the improvement in the operations and the processes of the organization. So this is the concept of continuous improvement. Japanese have given this concept a different name, that is the Kaizen concept. You must have learned about the Kaizen concept. In the very simple meaning, we can say Kaizen is also related to this continuous improvement concept which we just have discussed. And USA have given this concept of continuous improvement by the name of zero defects. So whether it's the zero defects or the Kaizen or some other approach, it is all related to the continuous improvement concepts of TQM. Okay, next very important concept of quality management tool and quality management approach is Six Sigma. Okay, what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma has two meanings, again in the perspective of TQM. One meaning is related to the statistics. That is the statistical definition of a process that is 99.9997% capable, 3.4 defects per million opportunities, and this is known as DPMA, that is defects per million opportunities. So what's meant by that? If we are able to reduce the defects for our products to the extent that these can be reduced up to the limit of only 3 defects, approximately only 3 defects out of million products, then it means we are able to apply that Six Sigma concept within our organization. So we will discuss this concept more in detail. Another meaning of Six Sigma is a program designed to reduce defects, lower costs, and improve the customer satisfaction. So there is a statistical meaning and there is a management meaning or the quality meaning, that the purpose of this Six Sigma approach is to reduce the defects so that we can improve the quality. And you know that reducing the defects is directly proportional to the improvement of the quality. And this also help us to reduce the cost and improve our customer satisfaction. So let's discuss this concept of Sigma, which has been taken from that statistical concept. You must have read about the normal distribution in the statistics. Normal distribution is the distribution which is normally distributed, which means that if we draw a graph for some data collected from some field, then this data should be normally distributed, and ideally it should be normally distributed. In between is the mean value, and then there is a dispersion on the left hand side as well as the dispersion on the right hand side. Now statistics said that if we collect some data and we draw a graph, we calculate its mean and standard deviation, then if we calculate the two limits, that is plus sigma and minus sigma, that is mean value x bar plus minus sigma, then 67% values will lie in between these limits. And if we are able to have these two limits up to the plus minus 6 sigma, it means there are 99.9997% chances that all the values will lie between these two limits, that is plus minus 6 sigma. So this concept is being used by that quality gurus to give us a sort of program which can help us to reduce our defects of products to the extent that we can have only 3 number of defects out of the million of products. So that is the concept behind Six Sigma, and you should know that why we call it as Six Sigma, because of taking its concept from standard deviation or the sigma from statistics. So that is the general idea of Six Sigma, that again, if we are able to define the 2 limits of our quality, and we are able to maintain the quality limits for our products and services, then we can have almost no defects. 3 defects out of the million concepts are almost no defects for our products and services. So this is the importance of Six Sigma, that if we are able to prevail this Six Sigma concept in our organizational setting and in our operations, we can almost eliminate our defects up to 0. So this is the importance of Six Sigma concept in perspective of that quality management. So Six Sigma originally was developed by Motorola. This concept was actually developed by Motorola, adopted and enhanced by General Electronics and Honeywell. So it is a highly structured approach to process improvement. So the basic purpose of that Six Sigma is the improvement of our processes and operations. Again, another concept is related to Six Sigma concept, that is DMAIC, that is define, measure, analyze, improve and control concept. Again, this concept is again related to Six Sigma. What is this DMAIC approach? It has again 5 steps, that is define the critical outputs and identify the gap for improvement. Again, DMAIC approach is related to the continuous improvement approach, that first we will have to define that what sort of improvement is required. Then we will measure the work and collect the process data. In order to improve our processes, we will have to collect some data related to our operations and processes. Then as a third step, we will have to analyze the data. We may use some statistical techniques, some mathematical techniques or some other techniques in order to have the technical analysis of the data. After that analysis and conclusion, we can improve the processes based on the results of that analysis. Then as a last step, we should control the new processes to make sure new performance is maintained. Again, we have already talked about the controlling. In controlling, most importantly, we'll have to find out the difference, that what is being actually being done and what is actually being required, and then we take the corrective action in order to improve for the future. So this is the concept of DMAIC approach. So Six Sigma implementation is so important, as we discussed, that it is directly related to the management of quality. It emphasizes the defects per million opportunities as a standard metric, as we discussed, that if we are able to apply that Six Sigma concept in our organization, actually we are able to avoid any sort of defects in our products and services. It provides the extensive training. So how we can get this Six Sigma concept? Through the training. We will have to train our employees about the quality management tools, about the quality management importance, in order to have sort of this environment within the organization. Then it creates quality process improvement experts. There are some certifications provided by the quality related institutes about the Six Sigma, and that certification may be named as black belts and the green belts. Now if your organization has been able to achieve this certification, it means you are the quality organization and you are able to provide the quality products and services to your customers. So Six Sigma implementation involves these stretch objectives which are to be achieved by the organization. Again, what is the purpose? In order to satisfy our customers. And what is the impact of that satisfaction? That is again related to the profitability of the organization and the productivity of the organization. So important is the concept of Six Sigma. And again, we cannot apply this Six Sigma concept or any other management concept without the commitment of top management. So important is the leadership and top management. Employee empowerment, that is another very important concept in management. As we discussed that there are the two styles, one is the participative management, the other one is the autocratic management. So in participative management, we mostly participate with our employees. We give the empowerment and authority to our employees in order to take the certain decisions. So this is a sort of creating the environment within the organization in order to empower the employees in order to take the particular decisions. So important is the employee empowerment. Now what is the impact of that empowerment? Your employees will be more motivated. They will be more inclined towards the objectives of the organization if they are given the authority. So getting the employees involved in the product and process improvements. Again, we should involve the employees in the improvement of our processes, and 85% of quality problems are due to the process and material. So research says that 85% of the quality problems can be dealt by the involvement of the employees, by the empowerment of the employees in order to improve our processes and operations. So we should build communication networks that include employees. We should develop an open, supportive and supervisors sort of relationship with our employees. We should move responsibility to employees. So along with the authority, we should also have the transfer the responsibility to our employees. Build a high moral organization, create the formal team structure. So class, so important is the employee empowerment. Rather than directing our employees, rather than have a sort of authoritarian style, we should participate with the employees. We should give the authority to our employees so that they can take the better decisions, especially related to the quality management within the organization. Next important concept is the quality circles. Quality circles. It is the group of employees who meet regularly to solve problems. Now again, this quality circle concept is also related to that empowerment concept we just have discussed. In quality circles, what happened, the top management or the top most management of the organization give the empowerment to the group of people within the organization in order to maintain the quality for their products and services. So it is, quality circle is actually the name of the group of the employees who meet regularly to solve the problems. Their main responsibility is to maintain the quality for their products and services. They are trained in planning, problem solving and statistical methods. So this group of people is provided the proper training, problem solving techniques in order to take these decisions about the quality management. It is often led by a facilitator. Again, that facilitator is ideally should be from the employees groups, and then it will be very effective when done properly. So this is the concept of quality circle, to empower the employees so that they can take the particular decisions about the maintenance of quality. Next concept or next approach with respect to the TQM is the benchmarking. Selecting the best practices to use as a standard for performance. Now, in order to evaluate our performance, there can be the different methods which can be used. We can use some established standard in order to measure that whether we are performing well or not. Okay? Now, there are many methods of that benchmarking. We can use some industrial benchmark. We can use some benchmark with respect to our competitors or with respect to our most performing firm within the industry. We can also use the internal benchmarking in order to evaluate our own performance. If we have performed so well in some past period, that period can also be taken as the benchmark for evaluating the performance of ourselves. So it determines what to benchmark. It is very important that what is to be benchmarked, whether we made the benchmark with respect to the market share, or we are measuring our performance with respect to the number of products produced within, by the organization, or we are interested in the market growth. So these are the concepts which should be defined, that what actually we want to measure and what actually we want to evaluate about ourselves. So we should form a benchmark team. Again, there is a benchmark team who is given the responsibility of that benchmarking in order to measure your own performance and then comparing this performance with some benchmark performance. Identify the benchmarking partners that in order to evaluate and compare who are the most important stakeholders which should be involved in this process of benchmarking. Then again, we'll have to collect and analyze the benchmarking information. Unless we get the information about our past performance and about our current performance and our benchmarked performance, how we can be able to decide a good benchmark for ourselves. So it takes action to match or exceed the benchmark. So what is the purpose of benchmarking? When we decided that this is the sort of benchmark for our own organizations or our operations, then this can be very helpful in meeting that standard or exceeding that standard. So important is the motivation part of that benchmarking. Next is the best practices for resolving the customer complaints. Again, we have already discussed that quality is inversely related to the complaints. If there are more complaints, quality will be reduced. So make it easy for the clients to complain. And now most of the organizations have a separate box for their customers, so they can put any sort of complaint in that box. So what is the importance of that? Because they are interested to take the complaints and timely they can deal with these sort of complaints. We have already discussed that how important is this quick response to the customer complaints. So we should resolve the complaints on the first contact for our most valuable customers. Then we should use the computers to manage the complaints. We can use some IT technology in order to better manage the complaints. Then we can recruit the best for the customer service jobs. There should be a sort of customer service department who may have given the responsibility to directly have the interaction with their customers in order to find out the complaints from them and in order to quickly resolve those complaints. Next important concept related to that TQM is the just-in-time concept. Now, what is the just-in-time concept? This concept is related to, that is, to produce or deliver the goods just as when they are needed. Now, there is no need to have a pile of our inventories, because when we have a pile of these inventories, it will increase the cost. It will increase the cost of quality. So today, all the organizations are interested to have a very minimum sort of inventory in order to avoid that cost related to the inventory. So this is the concept behind JIT approach related to, again, TQM. Just-in-time concept helps us to cut the cost of quality. Now, how it will reduce the cost of quality? As I discussed, that in this concept, we try to have the minimum of inventory, and we try to have the minimum of reworks and scrap in our organization. So when we are able to avoid any sort of scrap or rework, we are able to have the less inventory within the organization, and when we are having less inventory, we are able to reduce the cost of quality. So that is the importance of, again, JIT concept. In this way, that JIT concept improves to helps to improve the quality. So the better quality means less inventory and better, easier to enjoy JIT system. So again, the main purpose of that JIT system is to reduce the inventory, and that is the in-time production just as when it is needed. Again, it is related to the pull system of production scheduling, including the supply management. That is the production only when signaled. We should not have, again, the piles of the inventories. We should only produce when it is signaled, when it is required. It allows reduced inventory levels. That is, the inventory costs money and hides the process and material problems. Encourages the improved process of product quality. So this is the basic concept about JIT system. And for the generally speaking, if we sum up this discussion about JIT, JIT involves to produce or deliver the goods just when it is needed in order to reduce the inventory within the organization, so that we can improve the quality, we can reduce the cost of quality in that perspective. So that is the concept behind JIT, just-in-time approach. It is engineering and experimental design methods to improve product and process design. It identifies the key component and process variables affecting the product variation. In the previous lecture, we have talked about the variation, that variation should always be avoided, and that directly negatively affect the quality. So the Taguchi concept relates to that reduction of variation in the production of our goods and services. There are three important approaches which are related to that Taguchi concept, that is the quality robustness, that is the quality loss function, and that is the target oriented quality. Let's discuss these important approaches related to Taguchi concepts. What is the quality robustness? It is the ability to produce products uniformly in adverse manufacturing and environmental conditions. Now this is very important class. Sometimes there is an effect, and sometimes there are certain causes. Sometimes it is not so important to directly have a focus on the causes, because there may be some adverse effects related to manufacturing and environment which can directly producing this sort of effect. So this concept about robustness deals with the ability to produce the products uniformly in adverse manufacturing and environmental conditions. It helps us to remove the effects of adverse conditions. So in this the concept, we try to identify the adverse conditions that is again related to the production of our goods and services, and we always try to avoid this sort of condition in order to have the better products and services. Small variations in materials and process do not destroy the product quality. Now again, what is the difference in this concept? That we don't care about the small causes which can cause the which can affect the quality, but we are more interested in the adverse manufacturing and in environmental conditions which can drastically have an impact on the quality of our products and services. So this is the concept behind robustness, that we are interested to avoid the adverse production conditions. Okay, next concept is the quality loss function related to that Taguchi concept. That is, it shows that costs increase as the product moves away from what the customer wants. Now again, that is related to the definition of quality, that meeting and exceeding the customer satisfaction. If you are not able to meet the customer requirements, it means the quality is not there, and how much far we are from the customer satisfaction, the more and more bad quality we are producing. So that is the concept given by that quality loss function, that it costs include customer dissatisfaction, warranty and service, internal scrap, repair and cost of society. Again, this concept is again related to that cost of quality, that is the prevention cost, appraisal cost, internal failure cost, external failure cost. That if we are not able to meet the requirements of our customers, we can always increase the cost of quality in the form of scrap, sometimes in the form of warranty, and sometimes in the form of reworking to reproduce our products and services. So traditional conformance specifications are too simplistic. This is again very important, that it is not always required. No doubt it is essential, but not only essential to conform to the required standards, because sometimes our customers' requirement changes so quickly, and we'll have to satisfy those requirements. Even sometimes your product is conforming the required standards, even then the customer may not be satisfied, because they may want some more smooth product, or he or she may want some good comfort from those of products and services. So we should not always focus only on conformance, but there are many other aspects of quality which should be the focus for the quality managers as well as the operational managers. So let's discuss this concept of quality loss function. We discussed that if we are moving away from the customer requirements, the more losses we will have to bear. The nearest, if we are to our customer satisfaction, the less losses we will have to bear. And if we are 100% meeting the customer requirements, we will not have to bear any sort of loss. So again, if this is the normal distribution and this is the mean value, which is the target value, this is the target value which the operation manager should have achieved. That is the ideal value or the target value at which our customers will be highly satisfied. So this is the target value which is being explained in that quality loss function concept. Now again, if we are not able to this ideal or the target value, that may be the mean value, at least we should be able to define the two limits, that is the upper limit and the lower limit, in order to better satisfy our customers. If we are producing our products and services beyond that limits, then there will be the more losses, and if there are the more losses, then again that will suffer the profitability of the organization. So this is the concept of quality loss function, and this is the formula about that, that is the L is equal to D square C. What is the L? L is the loss to the society. So like the cost of quality, we can also measure this cost to the society. And what is the cost to the society? That is the function of distance from the target value. That is the way we are from the target value or the customer satisfaction. That distance is being represented by that D. And C is the cost of deviation. How much we are deviating from the target value or the customer required value, the more we will have to suffer in the form of losses. So that is the concept of quality loss function, that we should be able to produce the goods and services in such a way that should meet our customer requirements. If you are not doing that, we will have to suffer in the form of that cost incurrence. Next important topic related to that TQM is the TQM tools. There are some very good tools available through which we can better manage the quality in the practical scenario. Now, you must have learned some of these tools, sometimes maybe in the statistics or some other subjects. So let's discuss these tools again, and we will discuss that how these tools can help us to maintain and manage the quality for our products and services. Okay, the first of all, the tools for the generating ideas, that is the check sheets, scatter diagrams, cause and effect diagrams. So these are the three tools which can help us to generate the new ideas. So we can catch these ideas and we can use these ideas in order to improve the quality in the organizational concerns. Then there are some tools to organize the data, and what these tools are about, that is the Pareto charts and flow charts. Then there are the tools for identify the problems, histograms, statistical process control chart. So all these tools are related to that statistical approaches. So let's discuss one by one these tools and how they are important to manage the quality. The first out of these 7 tools of TQM is the check sheets. Now what is the check sheet? It is an organized method of recording data. So check sheet is nothing but to arrange the data in the form of the table, so that this table can give you the idea that how you can better take a decision. Suppose the variable in which we are interested, that is the defects. So we can record the defects at the different hours or working at the place of the operations. So after fulfilling this table, we can have the idea that at what hour there is a problem, at what hour the products are not as per standards. So again, this sort of table always help us to take very important decision. As you can see from this table, that there is some problem either in the 7th or 8th hour or in 1st or 2nd hour. So it always gives you the idea, and the most importantly the operations manager, that there is some problem in the very initial working stage and at the end of that working stage. So important is the check sheets, that it can immediately identify the problem which can directly affect our production of products and services. So this is the check sheet. Next important tool is scatter diagram. Now scatter diagram is a sort of graph of the value of one variable against another variable. Usually in the scatter diagram, we take two variables of our interest, one on the x-axis and the other one on the y-axis, and we just plot the different data which are being getted by the operational manager or the quality manager on this graph. Now after putting that dots on this graph, again we can take the very important decision sometime, that suppose this is the data about absenteeism and productivity, and after plotting these dots on the basis of a particular data, we can always have the idea that there is an inverse relationship between absenteeism and productivity. You can see here that if absenteeism is less, there will be more productivity on the y-axis, and again at this side, if absenteeism is more, that is on the x-axis, then the productivity will be less. So scatter diagram always gives you the idea in order to take the particular decision. Next important tool related to that TQM is the cause and effect diagram. Again, this is a very important diagram. It is also sometimes referred as Ishikawa diagram, or it is also known as fishbone diagram. Now, what is this diagram about? It actually identifies the process elements, that is the causes, that might affect an outcome. So in this cause and effect diagram, there is always an effect which is usually referred as outcome of some activity, and there is always some causes which are actually referred to as the reasons for creating that particular effect. So this again, this diagram helps us to take a very important decision, and in order to find out the causes which are contributing towards a particular effect. Next important tool out of that 7 tools of TQM is the Pareto chart, a graph to identify and plot the problems or defects in descending order of frequency. Now again, it is usually said by the quality gurus that 80% of the firm's problems are a result of only 20% of the causes. Now again, in order to understand this concept of Pareto charts, let's talk about the effective utilization of the resources. We are always interested in the optimum utilization of organizational resources. Now suppose we are able to identify the different causes of problems, but sometimes the organization do not have sufficient resources in order to deal with all of these problems. So Pareto chart actually guides us that what are the most important problems which should be a target for the operations managers, and we should target only the 20% of the causes. Ultimately that will be able to remove our 80% of the problems. So that is the concept of Pareto charts, that we will have to identify the most important problems, and then accordingly we will have to make a strategy in order to deal with these problems, and ultimately this is related to the effective utilization of organizational resources. There are some steps which are involved in that Pareto chart. When we have a certain sort of data, suppose that is the data about the complaints from our customers, we can always draw frequency for the available data, and then we will have the descending order frequency, and finally we can have the percentage or the cumulative frequency, and we can draw a diagram like that. Now these are the bar graphs which are based on the descending order frequency about a particular data, and again this line graph you can see on the screen is related to the graph of that cumulative frequency. So in the next class we will discuss in detail about that Pareto chart, that how the Pareto chart can help us to take very important decisions of that 80-20 rule we have just discussed. The next important tool is the flow chart or the process diagram. It uses the different standard symbols in order to understand the flow of the different activities regarding a particular process or the particular operation. So the importance of these flow charts is that it can have the idea to understand the process in a better manner, and we can easily identify the loopholes with the help of that process. If we have the documents and in order to examine the different processes of the operations, sometimes it is not so feasible to take the particular decision. But if we draw a flowchart in order to explain the different activities of a process or operation, we are always being able to take some particular decision on the basis of that flowchart. So this is the next important tool for our TQM. Next is the histogram. It is a distribution showing the frequency of occurrences of a variable. You must have learned about that histogram, that we draw the frequency about a particular variable of interest. That may be the repair time, and we can again draw the graph on the basis of the frequency values, and again we can have this sort of distribution, which is in this case is the normal distribution. Now histogram sometimes always helpful in order to take the particular decisions. In the next class we will do some practical examples that how these sort of charts can help us to resolve the particular problems in the organizational setting. Next is the statistical process control. Is a chart with time on the horizontal axis to plot the values of our statistics. Now again, as its name shows, that is the controlling chart. Again, controlling is what? We'll have to find out the difference between the actual value and the desired value, and then we'll have to take the corrective action. Now let's have a view on this diagram, that this is the target value. Now this is the standard which we want to achieve in our operations, and if we are able to define this upper limit and the lower limit, and we are able to examine our processes, then this sort of diagram and this sort of approach will always help us to find out that at what particular point of time we are going beyond these limits, which are not the acceptable limits. So what actually statistical process control do, that it help us to find out the different limits in order to maintain the quality, and if there is some deviation beyond these limits, then we can always be able to take some particular corrective action in order to remove the deviation. So is the importance of that statistical process control chart. Okay class, in today's lecture we again discuss some very important concepts of the quality. We discussed about the different quality tools, and we discussed about the different quality approaches, and I hope you must have the idea that what is TQM about and what sort of approaches can be used in order to maintain that total quality management environment within the organization. It was our second lecture related to that quality management. We will have one more lecture regarding that quality management, and that lecture we will do that how practically these approaches we just have learned, like scatter diagram, like flow charts, like Pareto charts, that how these statistics can actually be applied in the real life problems in order to maintain the quality for the organizations. So in the next class we will discuss the practical implications and the practical worth of these concepts in order to manage and maintain the quality in the organizational setting. Thank you very much for your patience, and see you next week. Good luck. Khuda Hafiz. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Now class, let's discuss the course outline for our today's lecture. Today we will discuss another very important concept, that is TQM, Total Quality Management.